Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. And as always, I hope that you enjoy story number 1, Gods of War, written by the Caleb Mack. It was almost silent. Not even the alarms sounded now, and the almost gentle hiss and pop of fire, the groan of tortured metal and polymers were but a whisper compared to the sonic Armageddon his ears had been subjected to previously. "Report!" Sub-Commander Zar Peso croaked out as he fought to his feet, and then held his ruined right limb close to his torso. The deck of the ship was uneven, due in part to having crashed from low orbit, but unless physics had changed since he was last on a stable planet, it should not be moving under him as it was. "I am injured gravely. My head hurts and I can't feel my hand. I'm gonna die if I don't get medical treatment." No one replied, and the comms were down. Damned humans loved killing comlinks at every chance they got, and for the last 2 cycles they had been gluttonous for all the opportunities the Bar-Ra High Fleet Command seemed willing to give them. Staggering to the nearest door, which had been sprung open, he moved to the command medical unit, reserved for the top officers of the ship. Entering the small room, he lay upon the only working biobed and commanded the computer to get to work. It did, but it was sluggish to do so. Painkillers were unavailable, and it warned him that it was on emergency backup power, and that it would automatically shut down before he could be fully recovered. "Just don't let me die, you damn machine. Fix my arm so I don't bleed out, nothing else." It beeped again, and he roared in pain as the mono needles wove themselves into his flesh, injecting nanoparticle bots to fix what they could. He blacked out after just a few rapid heartbeats. Zar woke to the sounds of footfalls and voices, but projected from the sound device rather than naturally. Panic seized him instantly when he recognized the mellower, resonant voices as humans and not as Bar-Ra. Looking down, he saw that the biobed had done its job, saving his life, but little else. The risk computer informing him that he was full cycle from regaining even half the use of his arm again, and that his hand and 3 digits might forever be paralyzed. Grunting, in barely suppressed agony, he rolled off the bed and fumbled for his sidearm, a trusty old Model 7 sonic pulse pistol, non-lethal at extended ranges, but very easy to aim and highly effective up close due to the nature of compressed sound waves. It wouldn't damage the ship, as if anything less than an atomic weapon hadn't already been used on it. Further, anyway. But he could knock over a full-grown Bar-Ra male at full sprint as if he were made of organic fiber cloth. Hopefully, it would work on a human just as well. Moving to the main door, he listened with both sets of ears to the humans on the other side. "Fletch, so far the crew's KIA. Haven't found anyone breathing, but we have yet to check the bridge, so command staff may still be active." "Crap. It didn't look like they had hit hard when they kissed the dirt. Hull breaches, maybe. None of them seem to have died from sucking vacuum, Sarge. Just good old Sir Isaac and his pump hand." "Sirs, the outer hull is slag, but so far all the major bulkheads are intact, but the power grid is fried, and a lot of doors are off frame." "Thanks, Sims. Gomez on me. Our squads will bang a breach on the command bridge. Then let battalion know that we have another heap before the engineers to break down into rounds for the MAG stations." "Copy that, Fletch. Do you want to clear the mid-bay?" Zar ground his teeth in shock before crouching and aiming his weapon at the door, hoping that he could knock them all out or kill them with the first blast, because the cycle time between that and the next was a lot longer when compared to a human slug throwers and their infantry laser rifles, or blaster rifles as they called them, more like barbaric manipulations of physics and mathematics. "Now, Mez, how many times has anyone found a skinny in the med bay of a slag ship? Almost seems like they put them there for decoration than actual use. We'll sweep it once, the bridge is ours." "Copy that, Fletch. Sims, get back to your squad and help them finish the sweep of engineering." "Hurrah, sir!" The 3 humans left the hallway, and Zar took a shaky breath before he opened the command access door and peeked out. Seeing nothing, he then dashed for the command section, the small connector passage well hidden and short. If he was fast, he would be able to greet the humans with a cone of sonic force, before he triggered the emergency self-defense system. Why he had not activated before was simply a matter of being made stupid by his injuries, and never thinking that the human planetary forces could reach a crashed starship so quickly. He wasn't fast enough, as before he was even at the command door, he could feel as much as hear the powerful concussive force slamming into the room like a meteorite into the mood. The doors before him buckled in, smashing his good hand, and the sonic weapon, his head, received yet another blow. His slender, square face smashed into the polymer, which was partly splintered, digging painfully into his blocky chin and almost flat cheek. All 4 of his ears hurt. He was effectively blind and was now totally crippled. His legs numb and both hands useless. "Oh, just show me already," he garbled out as he saw tall and large alien shapes gather around him. "Ideally, I would oblige you, but lucky you, I have orders to take all survivors alive." Zah would have asked why, had he remained cognizant any longer. But after 2 massive blows to the head in very short order, his brain went into hibernation in an effort to prevent itself from being moved yet again into position to be turned into mush. "Holy crap, these UTD things the pups gave us really work," Sergeant Gomez said as his men carefully maneuvered the knocked-out invader from the small, hidden passageway. High Commander Zvi Naimya put the data down and sighed in exhaustion. 5 ships of the line brought down and set upon by the humans on their second colony world. Mars, they called it, named for an ancient deity of warfare from the historically distant past for them. But at that very time, the Bar-Ra had perfected their refined FTL drive, and to this day they used it as the basis of all the hyperspace systems on every starship that they produced. 5 ships, all lost with all hands. All brought down with obscenely overpowered and glorified range finders. Oh, and yes, with the help of projectile weapons that use toxic metals and refuse, some of it allegedly made from the hulls of the smashed Bar-Ra ships. Electromagnetic and explosive-powered projectiles. Fancy, high-tech rocks. The Serene had warned them, as had the humans, but of course, if your greatest rival tells you something, you don't just believe them without proof, how much less the one you intend to subjugate. The Bar-Ra had a growing list of evidence that supported the sheer weight of the statement that the human ambassador had delivered to the very face of the council chambers when the war of declaration was given. "Are you sure you want to do this?" "We are. You have offended us, and we will take back our pride and put you upstarts in your place." "Very well, just, please remember we offered to negotiate. So whatever happens next, well, you wanted this, and we did not." How contradictory, coming from a race whose own history openly recorded an orgy of violence of unending for thousands upon thousands of cycles, interrupted only by the briefest periods of peace. A quote from the data package the humans had sent the ambassador suddenly came to mind. An honored leader from one of the greatest and most successful tribes, Americans or some such, ignored at him before, but now was fear-inducing as he recalled it. "Peace is the brief, glorious moment in history when everybody stands around reloading." Spoken like an ancient god of war. What in the name of the void had they done? End of part 1. Story number 2. Gods of War continued. Written by the Caleb Mack. Div Sahef was going to die. He knew as surely as he knew the exact number of times his ionized plasma rifle would fire before his energy cell was depleted, which was only a handful of times now. He knew it just as surely as he knew he hated his commander's guts, because that Bertha defiling excrement-eating round giant fool was the stupidest Bar-Ra on 5 worlds. He knew it because after 10 cycles in the Bar-Ra Star Infantry, contesting the fury-flopped era to Serene, surviving many skirmishes and interdiction missions, and more boarding actions than mating cycles, he had never been so abjectly terrified of anyone as he was of the humans. Why Command had thought the small exo-world XP-5782, or Miranda 4, as the humans called it, was worth a whole army, didn't matter to him anymore, because there was no army left to actually take it. All because of the damn dirty humans like to cheat and pervert the laws of physics as if mathematics was some child's game. A hiss burned past his head as the scream of a fellow Bara soldier behind him made his eyes dart to the side, where a faint tint of green lanced by in a beam before it vanished. Humans and their lasers. Rolling to the side, Div moved to a piece of stone and propped himself up on his knees, looking for a target in the trees near some simple dwellings that humans had set up when they first arrived. The inhabitants long ago fled. They were theirs just as well, since on day one, Div and his unit had learned what happened when you attacked unarmed humans. The image of a female driving a slagging cooking utensil into the neck of his best friend, not 2 heartbeats after a mate had been executed, still echoed in the back of his mind. And where a minor juvenile had been beaten to death for stealing. Even the major juveniles had taken up arms. Sticks, rocks, tools, and even bare hats. It seemed that every human within sprinting distance had reacted with pure, unbridled bloodlust. Never mind that the humans, while only slightly bigger than the typical Bara soldier, were wildly varied in their own size and markings, were now known to be impossibly fast and strong in spite of how soft their skin was, and their bones were heavy and hard. That mob of humans had almost wiped out his unit without a single proper weapon between them, and they were not even soldiers. A small but loud explosion, followed by a sharp cracking sound, jolted him out of his waking nightmare. The soil scattered about his feet as he moved again, unsure of exactly where the shot had come from, but absolutely not wanting to find out like the previous squad leader. He had just 3 rotations to go. Void, damned, dirty humans and their slug throwers were ugly and wrong. The primitive child's toy taken too far. A strange whistling ended in a loud crash of metal and polymer. A crackling followed and Div fell over as the jaw of an howling cow had just crashed into him. Breath short, Div realized his weapon was now spare parts, a smoldering hole between the power cell and the charging chamber sparking and smoking as a soft trill of blue light flashed on the status panel, telling him what he already knew. Power failure, conduit failure, chamber damage. A green dot of light then appeared on his chest, right where his lung came to rest next to his heart. 2 others then flanked it. I'm going to die. Reflexively, a thought came to mind, and he threw himself to the ground, and then a hiss of lasers cut past and into the trees behind him. Jumping to his feet as soon as the hissing ended, he raised his hands and screamed, "Stop! I quit! I stop! Do not kill me!" Nothing happened. Nothing happened. Take 2 steps forward, get on your knees, don't move, and shut up. Div complied so quickly his knees hurt. 4 humans, 3 in uniform, and a 4th of a more common garb, if not much dirtier, appeared from the number of directions, weapons drawn, eyes cold and wary, movements almost silent, yet smooth and slow, like spectres from old stories. One of them was female. Miller, get the collar on the skinny. Zoo, call evac. Rajiski, what was a hell of a shot from the old pop gun of yours? The female, in common garb, smiled in an unsettlingly wide way. Her cobalt blue eyes sharp and hard, yet warm, like a pale color of her hair. She replied, petting the wood and metal weapon with her arms. 200 years, 2 world wars, a dozen skirmishes, 250,000 wolves, 2 planets, and 50 xenos. The motherland knows how to make a goddamn rifle, huh? What? End of story. This is a special thank you to the one, the only, the legendary Eric Hino, who has become the only Tier 6 patron. I just want to thank the T5 patrons and channel members. Bob the Dragon, Cam Maxwell, Casper Arnold, Estrella the Dreamer, Trygan95, Pudic Yol, Meridian117, Alithia, Jordan Bucksborn, Angry Marine, Albarden Gusta, and Barkey. Thank you very much. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed. There are links down below, both to support this channel and for the author of this fiction. Anyways, I hope you all have a fantastic one, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.